What's up, bro? Welcome back. I could tell it's fall because, like, when my knuckles start looking like that, ashy, that's how I know it's officially fall. All summer, moisturized, fall comes, ashy. So, in today's video, I'm going to show you the correct way to actually price your handyman services so that you actually make money and, most importantly, make enough money to live well wherever you live in the country and the world, really. All right, stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to share with you a pro tip that I learned in my 6 years of full-time handyman work, that's going to allow you to even raise your rates even higher and not lose a single client. What I found about most hourly rate pricing calculators for handyman is that the formula they give you is you add up your expenses, you add up your overhead for a month, I guess, right? How much you would spend in a month in those two things, and then you would divide it by 30, right? 30 days. And then from there, you're just supposed to throw on profit margin, like your clients care about your profit margin, right? So what we end up doing is just pricing ourselves as low as possible, comfortably get a yes to a project. And at the end of the day, sure, we can do all that math, add up our expenses, right? Try to figure out what overhead is. A lot of us are just getting started and we don't really even know what our overhead is going to be, and overhead changes as your business grows. And this is just a poor way to calculate your handyman hourly rate. And anyone who tells you to do it this way on the internet doesn't know how to grow a handyman business because they haven't done it themselves successfully. They probably using ChatGPT to grow a handyman business. And ChatGPT, as far as I know, has not ran a successful handyman business that has brought in six figures. Here, I'm going to break down this video how to correctly price your handyman services so that you can make money and it makes sense why you price the way you price. So what I hate about the current pricing calculators is that they just totally disregard the value of the market that you live and work in. Like if you live in an area where homes are valued at around $800,000, let's say you live just right outside of it, you should be pricing to what they can afford, not to what you can afford. That doesn't make sense to me. And it shouldn't to you either. So the thing is that you should be pricing your handyman work based off the value of the market that you're going to be working in. So if home values in that market is $300,000, then yeah, you're going to make a little bit less than the guy that lives in an area where homes are $800,000 because home values equals the purchasing power of the people that live there. Okay, you following me? Okay, it makes a lot more sense, doesn't it, than just taking your expenses and adding on profit margin because you can either be taking too much off the table or leaving a lot on the table at the end of the day. All right, so here we go. We're going to look at my pricing formula, how I figured out my hourly rate and how I can teach it to you guys anywhere in the world so that you can price yourself correctly and, show up like a professional when they see your quote and your estimate. So that formula is going to be right down here, bottom of the screen. So let's break it down. All right, so over here, right over here, we got the first three, two, four numbers of whatever the market you live in. So or that you want to work in. So we're going to say that home values are $300,000 on average, right? We want to take the median home value for the general area that you are going to be working in. So, let's say you live in St. Louis and homes are $300,000 median where you're going to be working. So you take 300, okay? You take 300 and then you're going to just divide that by 3, okay? And then that's going to spit out what your hourly rate should be. All right, so we're going to break it down. So 300,000, right? That's breaking down to 300 divided by 3, okay? You got $100 per hour. And now you're going to be asking me, okay, $100 per hour, like where did you get the 3 from? Really, I got the 3 from essentially figuring out how much I can price in my market and then finding essentially the sweet spot for how much my customers can look at it and be like, yeah, that looks good, to the point where they're like, ooh, that's kind of high. I figured that out over the past 6 years on what is that threshold in my area. And then essentially I just can use that same formula based off home values and plug that in anywhere. So that's where I got the 3 from. All right, and then here's where you can give yourself a little bit of leeway. So let's say you're just getting started, or maybe you're just part time, and don't need to have all the bells and whistles of like running a full time handyman business. Then I would say take that number right that you got. So say take that 100, and let's just divide that by 25%, or take 25% off of that. So that's going to leave you at $75 an hour, which will price you more competitively to get in the door, get more jobs. And especially if maybe you're just starting out, like you're not incredibly skilled, or like you're just new to the business and you're just unsure, right? That gives you a cushion to where like you can slowly start working your way up to that $100 mark and actually be at what your market wants to pay you. So that $75 is more for you than it is for your customer. So then start testing your rate, especially if you're a full-time guy. Start testing your rate, and once you get booked out, like once you're booked out a full week or and it's consistent, start pushing that number up and up until you start getting resistance, right? Or you start getting to a point where you notice that like less than 40% of the quotes you send out are not getting approved, because then you know you've reached the ceiling for like the amount of pain that your area can withstand as far as like an hourly rate for a home repair guy. And if you want a free guide that just breaks all this down into an easy to read PDF, you can check out the link in the description down below. You can grab my free invoicing and quoting cheat sheet. It's free and takes 2 seconds to go and grab that. So all right, so how you go about finding your home median home values for your area is just go on Google, and you'll find it on Zillow. Zillow does a pretty good job at keeping track of this information and updating it really regularly, and it's like really consistent because they obviously list homes for sale. And then what I do is about every 3-ish to 6 months, I just check that home value number to see if it's going up or down dramatically, because we do know home values do change. So that gives you a great insight to essentially the purchasing power and how that's moving in your market that you're working in. So that you don't stay stuck at the same hourly rate forever, you actually want to ride the wave of like your home median values as it goes up or down. Unfortunately, you want to make sure you're decreasing if purchasing power is decreasing as well. And you know what? If the price is too high for a particular potential client, then that just tells you that they're not your customer. Because as professional home repair specialists, we're not here to serve everybody, right? We're not just taking any call that comes in. We want to set up systems and build a business to where we are providing a service to people who can afford the service. If you can't afford the service, then they need to make more money, right? And you need to go and try to find the people that can afford your rate, because we're in business to make money. We're not in business to help people. That's secondary. We're first in business to make money. All right, and I did tease that pro tip there at the end. So essentially, when you go to start raising your rates, right, it is not a good idea to just start raising them on your past clients right away. So as you see that you're starting to get booked out, a week and a half, 2 weeks, and you're feeling confident in your skills and how much value you can bring to your customers, start increasing the price, but only on new clients that come in. So new customers, new homeowners, new professional clients, realtors, whatever, property managers. Start raising the new rates on them. And if you have repeat clients in the beginning, make sure you just leave their rates the same, or you can leave it the same forever, depending on how you feel you want to build that or keep, or how you want to treat that relationship. But I've raised it on my past clients, and sometimes it weeds out those past clients who can no longer afford you, and that is unfortunate. But that is the cost of that's the cost of business. Is we need to make as much money as possible. So, but start raising your rates on your new clients that come in, because this is the first time they're experiencing you, and just start getting a feel for how that hourly rate is being received. And a great way to like gather all this data, where I'm talking about approval rates and sending out professional quotes and all this stuff, I have a link down below. It's a link to get a CRM. It just keeps all of your business data in one place. I recommend Jobber. That's what I use personally in my business. And I have a link that's going to give you a free month and then a bunch of special add-ons that you can only get through the link. So check that out as well. So yeah, brother, that's oh man. So yeah, brother, that's all I got for this video. Check out the video over here that YouTube recommends. I'm sure it is a banger. But until next time, brother, I will see you later. Peace. All right, what's up, bro? All right, what's up, my man? What's up, broski? All right, what's up, broski? What's up, bro? What's up, my man? Bro, welcome back. Shit, bro. What's up, bro? What's up, bro? Welcome back. What's up, bro? Welcome back. What's up, bro? All right.